They never left. Chapter 2, The Black Sphere. Nobody moved, not immediately. The security monitor continued displaying the impossible image. The pale figure clung effortlessly to the ceiling of the underground archive, limbs bent at angles that seemed to ignore anatomy. Its elongated fingers were spread wide against the concrete like the legs of an enormous spider. The fluorescent light buzzed above it, flickering in a rhythm disturbingly close to the 27-second pulse that had haunted the observatory for days. Then, the feed went black. Not with static, not with interference, simply black. Sarah's hands flew across her keyboard. "I've lost camera C12. "What about the others?" Ethan asked. She clicked through every camera in the underground level, one by one. Each screen faded into darkness. The hallway, the archive, the storage rooms, the emergency stairwell, nothing. It was as if the cameras were still recording, but light itself had vanished. Miguel was already pulling a heavy flashlight from the emergency cabinet. "I'm going down." Director Evelyn Cross stepped in front of him. "No." Miguel frowned. If something is inside, Cross corrected quietly, "you are not equipped to deal with it." Arthur looked sharply. "You've seen this before." Cross didn't answer. Instead, she pressed a finger to the earpiece hidden beneath her hair. Within seconds, the unmistakable sound of helicopter rotors echoed outside. More personnel, more soldiers, all carrying equipment that looked nothing like conventional weapons. 30 minutes later, the underground archive was filled with armed security teams. Ethan watched from the control room as helmet cameras streamed live footage back to the monitors. Concrete walls, steel shelving, dust. Nothing unusual. The first team reached camera C12. Its housing had been ripped clean off the ceiling. Not smashed, not cut, removed. The mounting bolts remained perfectly intact. Only the camera itself was gone. "Where is it?" Sarah whispered. No one answered. The team advanced deeper. Every camera along the corridor had vanished in exactly the same way. Not broken, missing. One soldier swept his flashlight across the ceiling. Empty. Another examined the floor. No footprints, no drag marks, no sign that anyone, or anything, had ever been there. The squad leader's voice crackled over the radio. "Archive appears secure." Cross nodded once. "Continue." The soldiers reached the final door. Archive B. Unused since the observatory expanded decades earlier. The electronic lock refused to respond. Miguel frowned. It shouldn't have power. One of the soldiers forced the handle. The heavy steel door groaned open. Their light swept across the room. Thousands of old paper files filled rustling shelves. Dust drifted lazily through the air. Everything looked untouched. Then one soldier stopped walking. His breathing became audible through the microphone. "Sir? What is it?" "My footsteps." Everyone listened. His boots echoed across the concrete. But there was another sound. A second set of footsteps. Perfectly synchronized. Always one step behind. No matter where he walked. The room was empty, yet something was following him. The audio abruptly filled with a deafening low-frequency hum. Every helmet camera glitched simultaneously. Frames skipped. Images smeared. The soldiers shouted over one another. "What is that? My compass is spinning! I've lost GPS!" One camera briefly stabilized. The viewers in the control room collectively held their breath. At the far end of Archive B stood a doorway. None of the observatory blueprints showed a doorway. It hadn't existed 20 seconds earlier. It was perfectly round, matte black, no hinges, no frame, simply an opening. Inside. There was no light, No darkness either, just an absence that hurt to look at. One soldier took a cautious step forward. Cross stood abruptly. No! Too late. The man crossed the threshold. His camera feed froze. His heartbeat monitor flatlined instantly. No scream, no gunfire, nothing. He had simply ceased. The doorway vanished, leaving only a blank concrete wall. The remaining soldiers ran. None of them spoke until they reached the surface. One helmet camera was missing. No one remembered losing it. That evening, the heartbeat changed. 27 seconds, then 26, then 27 again. Lisa stared at the waveform for hours. Finally, she whispered, "It's adapting." Outside, the rain finally stopped. For the first time in days, the sky cleared. Millions of stars filled the heavens. Arthur carried an old brass telescope into the observation deck. "I want visual confirmation." Ethan joined them. "You don't trust the radio telescopes anymore?" Arthur laughed softly. "I don't trust anything anymore." He adjusted the telescope toward the coordinates of the mysterious signal, then froze, his face drained of colour. "Ethan." "What?" "Come here." Ethan leaned toward the eyepiece. At first, he saw nothing. Then, something moved. Not across space, across the stars themselves. Imagine standing beneath clouds. Now imagine those clouds were perfectly invisible, except where they blocked the stars behind them. An enormous circular shadow drifted silently across the sky. No lights, no engines, no reflection, only absence. Its edge eclipsed dozens of stars at once, then hundreds, then thousands. Ethan slowly stepped away from the telescope. "How?" Arthur whispered. "It wasn't there yesterday." Within hours, observatories across the world began reporting impossible observations. The object had no orbit, no measurable velocity, no infrared signature. Astronomers couldn't calculate its size because every attempt produced different answers. Some estimated 50 kilometers, others over 500. It was as though distance itself refused to apply. Governments publicly dismissed the reports. The internet filled with blurry images. Most were fake, but one wasn't. The photograph spread across social media before authorities removed it. A perfect black sphere, suspended behind the moon. No shadows, no reflected sunlight, simply black. People called it a camera glitch, an eclipse, a classified satellite. Conspiracy forums exploded overnight. Then the image disappeared from every major website, except someone had already downloaded it. Sarah stared at the file on her private laptop. Its timestamp changed every few minutes. Not the creation date, the future date. According to the metadata, the photograph wouldn't be taken for another 11 days. At 2:17 a.m., the observatory lost power. Emergency lights illuminated the corridors in dim crimson. Backup generators failed. Battery systems shut down. Every electrical device died, except one, the old analog radio in Arthur's office. A relic from the 1970s. It crackled to life by itself. Static, then a voice. Not English, not any language Ethan recognized. Dozens of voices layered together, speaking simultaneously, forward, backward, whispering, crying, laughing. Sarah began recording. Lisa covered her ears and Arthur leaned closer. The voices stopped. One clear sentence emerged, soft, almost gentle. "We found you." The radio exploded. Glass filled the room. Silence returned. Outside, every radio dish slowly began rotating again. No motors, no power, yet 12 structures weighing hundreds of tons turned in perfect unison, facing upward, not toward deep space, toward the black sphere behind the moon. The heartbeat came back. Thump. The entire observatory shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. A hairline crack appeared across the concrete floor of the control room. Miguel knelt beside it. What the? The crack wasn't random. It curved perfectly, slowly completing itself. A circle, exactly 3 meters across. The same diameter as the impossible doorway that had appeared underground. No one spoke, no one moved. Then, from somewhere deep beneath the observatory, something answered. Not with a sound, with another heartbeat. Slower, far louder and ancient, as though something unimaginably vast had been sleeping beneath Black Ridge long before the first human ever walked the Australian desert. And now, it knew they were there. Good evening, guys, ghouls, and girls. Thank you for watching my latest narration video. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy what I do here. If you have a good ghost story that you would like to share with me, or a spooky story you'd like for me to narrate, please feel free to email me. All of my social media links are listed in my link tree, including Red Circle for my podcast, Twitch, where I occasionally stream whatever game I feel like in that moment, Discord server that I run with my friends that are fellow creators, and you can even buy me a coffee. Feel free to connect with me on any of the linked platforms. I really appreciate any and all support.
Stay spooky.